So we broke it down into 4 easy steps: notification, eligibility, readiness, exercise. You know that the very first question that I got was, will we get it through the goal line? Right? That's what every executive wants to know. Right? Notification. I'm going to run through these really fast. You can read the presentation, but I want to break it down for you what happens and how we changed it so that this can happen for you, and that we're beginning to see, most importantly, that it's working. What we've done is we've created some tools, not all of which, I want to tell you, worked perfectly out of the gate. Could that happen, that not all IT systems, when you make changes, work exactly the way you ask them to work? I don't know if that's been your experience in your companies and your agencies, but in my experience, it doesn't always work exactly the first time you roll something out, but we're getting there, okay? And I'm good with the 62% improvement first month. You know, I'll take it, you know? So the very first thing that we did is we automated it. No longer does one office or one contracting specialist or contracting officer have to figure out whose contract is coming up for expiration. It's automated. At 250 days, remember I said? 250 days before the contract is going to expire, long time, we send that office a notification, that contracting specialist a notification. This contract's going to expire. And we ask them, we give them 40 days to look it over. Not to do a whole determination and go through all their files and all the rest of it as you would think. Just give it a onesie. For those contracts that they know, we are no intent on the part of the government to renew this contract, they have the ability right there, right then, to exclude it from being renewed. And a letter will go out to the industry partner. Now, does that industry partner have the right to come back to the contracting officer and say, hey, I don't agree? Of course you do. And that's between you guys. But we've given them that ability. Let's say they don't exclude it. At 210 days, we've automated for them, again, something else the contracting officer doesn't have to do, a letter, and that letter is a notification of intent. The government reserves the right, blah, 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 blah. GSA is considering executing an option. Before this option may be exercised, the contracting officer must make an evaluation. This letter makes no promises on the part of the government. Okay? Because until things are evaluated, certainly no automated letter is going to make it a promise on the part of the government. But it is an automated letter. And in that letter, right there and then, it lays out for industry what that industry partner should supply to GSA. Okay? So that the requirements, if you're an industry partner who has, let's say, a professional engineering contract and an IT contract and a AIMS contract, are going to be the same no matter where you go. Okay? At that point in time, at that 210-day notification, we say to you, we want you to give us certain things. Remember I said reduce the unnecessary paperwork? We don't want you to send in copies of your ORCA registration and your CCR registration and your, I don't know, passports and all the rest of that kind of stuff. We know how to get that. Those are automated websites. We know how to get to that stuff. Okay? What we do want you to do is to send us things that are the basis of your contract. What we found in looking over everything that we had been doing is that GSA had turned optioning schedule contracts into renewal of contracts. De facto, by practice. Not by policy. So we pulled our practice, our process, back to what the FAR said an option was, a unilateral modification. And we go out and we tell you, industry partners, Please come in and affirm some things to us. Tell us, are your commercial sales practices upon which this contract is currently predicated still current, accurate, and complete? Affirm it. I need, as the contracting officer, to be able to let my customers know that, right? Are the terms and conditions still blah, 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 right? Is the price reduction clause trigger still current, accurate, and complete? If it is, please affirm it. Now, this is something we've never asked our industry partners to do. This is new. We are asking for a signed affirmation to these things, as opposed to fill out a form, right? This is actually, a step up. Thinking is, if your pricing was good yesterday, you better affirm to me that it's good today. Now, if you cannot affirm to these things, please, the letter says, submit the documentation for us to review your changes. Your CSPs, your commercial sales practices, aren't good today. They've changed. Submit them. And we've told the contracting officers, stop. It's not part of the option. Review the CSPs, the commercial sales practices, if that's what's changed. Make a determination if that you need to renegotiate. If you do so. Do your bilateral modifications. Okay, go back to your unilateral modification. That is your option. Does that make sense? Okay. The other thing that we've asked industry to submit are two things, if applicable. Obviously, if there's been a change in business size, a redetermination, and, if applicable, a subcontracting plan. Let me go back there. If you are a contractor, if you're an industry partner, you are going to go to CCR. If I use an acronym and you don't know it, raise your hand, okay? You're going to go to ORCA, and you're going to go to GSA Advantage, and you're going to make sure all of those sub-sites are updated. We tell you that in the 210-day letter. Do it now, because you're not going to get this option if you don't do it. Make sure your mass mods are up to date. Do it now, or you're not going to get this option. Don't wait until 10 days before. Okay, so the next phase, all that happens at 210 days. We say, please get this back to us in 45 days. What does that do? A, it keeps us way on track. B, if there have been changes, it gives you plenty of time to gather up those changes, submit them to GSA, let those bilateral modifications happen if they need to happen, and still keep us on track.